Well, either way, Obey come out with that first victory. The Starboys see if they can respond. Game 2, getting ready to go. Picks and bans ready. Starboys, they're in the first pick selection this time around, so may not give up those insane 3, but immediately ban away a Willish.
They still don't want to allow Myflin to have such a comfort pick for himself, especially in the opening debut of the Summer Split. I think that's a smart choice.
Absolutely. Chang'e banned away by Obey. Same exact bans from Starboys. This time, though, they're in that first pick selection. And Obey, they're going to ban away Susano themselves. Even though Myflin didn't have the greatest of games on this jungler, still want to put it in Starboy's hands.
Myflin did do what he needed to do on the Susano, though.
Sure.
Even in the instances where he was getting picked off, he was usually drawing away at least 2 members from Starboys, and that's really important as a jungler because it allowed his team to knock out a couple of objectives, the TT Tower, Portal Demon. It's always a fun time, but I think Obey are allowed to have a lot more fun considering the Osiris and Bellona.
Interesting. Osiris and Bellona. So these are the two warriors right now, Taco, that are dominating the solo lane. If one team picks Osiris, the other gets Bellona. Unless you just take both. I'm assuming one of these is going to the jungle. Which one do you think fares better in that role?
I would probably have to say Bellona jungle entirely. She has the team ultimate that's got the stun, it's got the protections available. Bludgeon does an insane amount of damage early on, so yeah, you can easily solo clear your buffs, which is something that Myflin likes to do.
Sure.
And then they have... when you combine the Zeus with it, I mean, it looks even better going with the Bellona direction.
Just hold forward and go. That's basically the team composition thus far from Obey. Starboys, they answered with that Fafnir and Vulcan. Obey gonna ban away the Nemesis. I love this ban. That could have been an early pick there for Starboys. You really don't even need to see the rest of Obey's composition. As soon as they lock in the double warrior, you're thinking Nemesis already, but I love that ban coming out of Obey.
I do like the Fafnir acquisition, though, for Starboys. Jelly had a pretty strong game on the Fafnir, eliminating that and just taking it away. And then you also have Cameron taking the Kern away from Mancer. I think that those are very smart team choices and a very strong duo lane.
For sure. Nike going to be the likely solo laner for Starboys, waiting on what we assume will be the jungler, and that should be that Ravana. So both teams, they've got 2 warriors, Taco, so a ton of frontline on both sides.
I mean, both of these sides, when you consider the frontline peel, though, I would probably say that Starboys is favored a little bit more between the Nike and the Ravana as in comparison to Bellona and Osiris. But Bellona and Osiris, the issue with them is the damage.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage, it's a lot of control. Both these rosters, I mean, they've got a couple bits of late game. Vulcan is the one pick I think that is kind of out of place here because both teams have gone pure early game, right? When you draft double warrior, you're running warrior in the jungle. It's all about, can I get an early game lead? Hunters are kind of on their own island, so you can pick some late game there, but you need to be able to fight early on in that 3v3 core with compositions like this. And that Vulcan just doesn't really fit that bill. It is going to be Myflin on the Osiris in the jungle here. So a little bit less burst damage, a little bit more constant harass and chase down potential out of the jungle.
Also pretty unexpected. Like I said, I 100% expected that to be a Bellona jungle. That's probably the more accustomed god pick for the role, but I have to respect it and see how it plays out for them. And already Starboys falling behind to the clear from Obey.
Exactly, that Vulcan clear not particularly strong early on. Jelly and Delta Marine get a full commit to try and get the speed buff, but Crimson and Dale don't seem to want to fight too heavily over it. Jelly's going to earn it for himself. Meanwhile, on this right-hand side, Sunder comes out, and Joey Donuts is looking to turn that fight around. Both Myflin and Dwurst taking that fight, really working in favor of Starboys at the moment, though. But Chain Lightning comes out, and Delta Marine claims an easy first blood. That's as easy as it gets, man. In the jungle, level 2, the enemy's level 1, you walked into Zeus. I got bad news for you, dude. That's where he wants to fight you. Delta Marine getting an early lead for himself.
Zeus and Sylvanus.
Yeah, you can't fight that.
Probably 2 of the worst gods to try and take up a fight or even just contest against.
Yeah, you can't fight that in the jungle. Basically no matter what you have outside of, you know, Isis or Willish or something like that. That's about it. Certainly Vulcan Fafnir don't fit that same early game bill that Starboys were looking for. Obey immediately getting a lead. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, Taco. And, you know, there's a lot of talk right now about the comeback potential and where it is in Smite, but these 2 teams are designed to not have comeback potential. It is designed to get ahead early and just hold that lead permanently throughout. if either of these teams fall behind significantly early on, I don't really see a lot of comeback potential from either one. Basically, it's Crimson, right? That's the only one who has any sort of late game turnaround potential.
The problem as well is that Crimson's level 2. By the time he hits level 5, I'd imagine that Delta Marine, if he continues his rate of farming, is going to be hitting 6, 7, and probably just insta-killing him with his ultimate. And plus, Myflin playing the Osiris, he's looking to dive, and again, just harass the hell out of Crimson. I just don't see how he gets away from it as a Vulcan.
And Crimson has to be very careful about that turret placement. Zeus versus Vulcan is one of those matchups we talk about pretty consistently in terms of that turret really just acts as a free chain lightning bounce. Very similar to Naja on that matchup, where you gotta be very careful about dropping it. A lot of Vulcans like to drop the turret right on the tower's edge to prevent the minions from coming in, like we're seeing exactly right now. But if you do that against Zeus, when he's got that clear pressure, he just chain lightnings the turret, drops the ult, and you're dead.
Plus, Obey have already secured Starboys red and speed buffs, so that I'd imagine that's just going to be invaded off cooldown.
And those are the two really important ones. Blue buff very important on the right side for hunters as well, or for solo laners as well, but purple buff is like, yeah, it's nice. It's good farming experience, but I don't really need it. It doesn't really hurt. But when you lose red, when you lose speed, blue as well, those are the ones that can really impact how you play the early game.
And for a Vulcan especially, he's going to be feeling it not having that red buff, or even Cameron to be taking away the red buff. It's difficult for an ADC to try and take up a trade when the enemy hunter has the red buff available and you don't.
Joey Donut's going to hit level 5 over here, but Crimson is dead again in that mid lane. Delta Marine making Crimson's life difficult already. Both kills onto the mid laner, courtesy of the mid laner.
And the speed buff as well is most likely going to fall the way of Obey Alliance. I just don't see how. Starboys aren't even looking to try and contest it. They've just accepted. Joey Donut knows that that's just going to be missing every time he looks for it.
That's no longer his speed buff. That's Obey's secondary speed buff.
That's Jelly's speed buff whenever he doesn't have purple buff.
Exactly. Myflin gets to claim a second speed buff, which, you know, any jungler is going to be excited about. I do like this call, however. Starboys immediately going for this objective. The Gold Fury is the call. Mancer knows, as do the rest of Obey. The burn is good thus far, but the Wild Hunt comes out and it's not enough. Obey steal away the Gold Fury. It's Mancer dropping the Sun. Starboys had an eternity to get that objective, but couldn't burn it in time. That's gotta hurt there. And now Mancer steals away the red. Or he steals away the red, and now he's probably gonna 360 triple bounce Cameron into the grave, because that's just the way this game has gone thus far for Starboys.
I was waiting for it to happen when he went in with the jump, but that is probably gotta be, that's crippling depression immediately as a team. Overall, you guys all just need to go get therapy after what just happened to Starboys.
Brutal. That's the only word I can really use to describe it. I mean, that is absolutely brutal as another invade goes Obey's way. As I said, I liked that call from Starboys, Taco.
It was great.
I think it was the right call, but was there just not enough full commit? Did Crimson use his ultimate there? I don't think he used it to try and secure that.
I don't believe Crimson's ultimate came through. I felt as though he thought that Cameron's ultimate, we saw the Wild Hunt come through and he dropped it, but it was a little bit too soon, and that tiny ticket damage is all that Mancer needed with his sons.
DaleyDale steals away an objective from Obey Alliance there, gets both oracles with the hammer. That's good for him. Joey Donuts can't find the root. Does have the Sunder, and is going to put it onto Dwurst, immediately getting him very low, but no Mystic Rush in response. Myflin shows up with the Lord of the Afterlife. Flik in a little bit of trouble, but still has that ultimate available, so you can't full commit to a Nike with ult, because that big burst shield could turn it around very quickly.
I still just can't believe how, I would say unlucky is still a necessary term for Starboys losing that objective the way that they did, especially when we were just going over how whichever team gets ahead, that's the team that's most likely going to just stay ahead and completely snowball the lead. Plus the momentum swing, the team morale's got to be high. Mancer's been playing out of his mind both games already, and I just think that that's so impactful on a team's general mental health when it comes to the game. Especially
if you know the call is the full commit and then the entire team doesn't full commit. That's a bad sign for Starboys. Now they've certainly got their work cut out for them. Look at where Dwurst is standing. On Obey's second speed buff, immediately before it even spawns. Myflin and Dwurst, the two bully warriors, doing their jobs early on here. Delta Marine is here once more with Jelly. It's a 4v4 fight over this speed on the right side of the map. Goes down. I think that actually went the way of Starboys there. That time around, no, cancel that. Myflin got it. Now Joey Donut's forced to Mystic Rush away, up over the wall. Silly me. I thought Starboys could get an objective there.
No, Joey Donut actually got it.
Did he?
He's got the speed. He grabbed the speed and then ulted away.
All right, there we go. A little bit of a, you know, a silver lining for Starboys, a light.
It cost him his ultimate, and that is kind of unfortunate, but he's still got the buff, at least.
Delta Marine is left all alone in the mid lane, drops the ultimate on himself. The Aegis is good. That Vulcan ultimate not going to hit, and Delta Marine's going to be able to escape for the time being. Myflin's going to find Joey Donuts, who would use his ultimate to secure that speed, as you mentioned. DaleyDale up over the wall. No detonate charges there. Delta Marine really should have fallen there. I mean, that was a 3v1 in the mid lane. Everyone else left to go invade. It was only Delta Marine standing there trying to get a cheeky little chain lightning. And Starboys still cannot find the punish.
Delta Marine, though, with the smart pickup of the Aegis first item, just completely saving his life. I mean, he had the timing perfect, and then on top of that, Starboys expended all of their damage as soon as Delta Marine popped his Aegis. So all that damage that should have been enough to secure the kill onto him, completely gone.
You're right.
The Vulcan ultimate whiffed as well.
A calculated bait once more by the 72. That's one thing that I've learned, Taco, from watching the SEL and in particular playing against these guys is the 72 never is out of position. He's just baiting for the opposition.
That's like every player ever. It's tactical feeding if they're feeding as well. There's tactics behind it for Crimson. We just haven't had a chance to see it yet. That's what every player will tell you.
Well, either way, Starboys got to tell themselves that they've got to find an objective pretty soon here. They're down about 3,000 gold. Got to find something to get themselves back in the lead. More concerning, though, is that 5,600 experience at the 9-minute mark.
Both Gold Furies, and I'm talking about the game before this one as well. Starboys have tried to initiate the objective secure onto the Gold Fury and lost it in not only this game, but the game prior. So I almost want to just see Starboys kind of just wait for Obey to look for the commit, and then Starboys either look for the fight or look for the steal. I don't feel as though Starboys' communication has been strong enough to secure the objectives themselves. Delta
Marine in trouble once more, and this time by his own red. Drops the ultimate on himself. DaleyDale not deterred by that lightning storm. He's going to jump forward, but elects not to use that ultimate of his own. Has it available if he does get put into trouble here by a pull from Jelly. That pull is going to miss. So only Delta Marine's ultimate there in exchange for Joey Donuts. Dwurst taking a lot of damage in that mid lane as Mancer takes the 1v1 against Cameron by the red. Cameron forced it his ultimate and to dash away. Mancer did use his relic though, so not a complete loss there for Starboys.
But the secondary speed buff is still the secondary speed buff for Obey, and that's just unfortunate. One time for Joey, and that's it.
DaleyDale goes right up into that Draconic Corruption and finds a stun onto Jelly, but Myflin's the one on the aggressive ultimate right on top of Cameron, who doesn't have his available, as well as Dwurst jumps right up on top. That Vulcan ultimate is going to connect onto two. Delta Marine falling pretty low as Cameron's already fallen to the hand of Dwurst, but Delta Marine again gets that peel from his team. Everyone else from Starboys has to back up, except for Flik and DaleyDale. Now Myflin zoning the support player away. Flik's rotating around the back here. This could be what you were asking for, Taco. It's Obey starting up the Gold Fury. And now it's Starboys' chance to try and steal it away. Getting very low. Detonate gonna come through and secure it. Flik can't quite find it. Dale's gonna jump away to safety after a nice hammer on the 180. Flik's gonna be able to escape toward the dual lane, so Obey get a couple kills and the objective once more.
It was the counter secure that I was looking for, but it was a Nike trying to do it.
Delta Marine, this is not where you want to be. 1v3, the detonate almost finds Flik, but Crimson's gonna be able to put himself on the board. And that's a huge kill for Crimson because Delta Marine was worth a lot of gold at that stage, and Crimson really could use that extra gold and XP from shutting down the kill streak of Delta Marine.
Delta Marine was pretty huge. Like, my man's was beefy right there, and for him to fall down, it's such an excellent time as well because Starboys could potentially look for the Portal Demon. I'm not certain that they're going to try and aggress onto it, considering that Obey Alliance are still a pretty spooky team to try and face off against, but I'd say it'd probably be one of their best decisions to try and fight with Delta Marine just now spawning.
Yeah, on his way. Does have that winged blade, so does have some good mobility to try and get back to the fight. An early mass immune pickup here for Myflin. Not the cheapest second item, but 50 power and good protection as well. Synergizes with basically everything he wants to do on this Osiris in the jungle as Cameron throws out that Wild Hunt pretty wildly. Mancer just gonna be able to jump right out of it. Now Mancer trying to turn it around. These two boxing. Cameron known for wanting to take these boxing fights more often than a lot of other hunters in the SCL one-on-one in lane.
Cameron's got to be careful, though, boxing into creep waves. Those archers, damage over time could start to become pretty significant.
DaleyDale in the middle of 3, but he's going to be able to use that jump to hop away there. As Mancer and Cameron still going at it on this left. Cameron's dash gets knocked up, and Mancer's trying to find it. Those archers trying to put in the damage into Cameron as well. Able to escape with 1 HP. Mancer looking for that long-range ricochet. You can tell by the way he's walking up into that wall, but he's getting baited here, Taco. Joey Donuts is right here. Mystic Rush is going to be able to get him close. The Sunder is going to do it. Close there. Mancer almost gets away, but Joey Donuts is able to find his first kill of the game.
Gotta appreciate the style kill there with the Sunder, although Joey Donut might regret that later on whenever they're trying to aggress onto a tankier target of Obey.
Regret for DaleyDale as he's forced up into that Draconic Corruption. Pull from Jelly's on the mark. Wrath of Terra as well. Myflin coming back after securing his secondary speed buff. Dale falling very low, and Jelly's gonna find his first kill of the game. And he earned it there. A nice pull coming out of the support.
Oh my.
Flik is just caught in the rend animation and can't use his ultimate. But when you're up against a Zeus that's 2 levels above you as a solo laner, you got to be a little bit more wary than that.
That was the damage that Crimson wanted to have last game.
Nothing there for the Vulcan ultimate. Nice idea, but too much patience there from Obey Alliance. Portal Demon wasn't even close to going down either. Cernunnos is making the rotation. Cameron's going to be able to help Crimson notch his second kill of the game. But meanwhile, again, Myflin just playing decoy, basically. The rest of Obey secure the Portal Demon. Another objective goes the way of the defending world champs. Now they're looking for another one. Mid-tier 1 tower is the call. Flik's going to teleport in here, though, and this is a 3v4 with Obey still a little bit weak.
Myflin really doesn't mind being the sacrificial lamb, especially since his team was able to secure that Portal Demon. He can just TP straight through to the side of the map that he wants to be on and help out his team when they're looking to aggress onto this T1.
Joey Donuts Mystic rushes in on top of Delta Marine, but Dwurst is zoning 3 on the backside. Joey Donuts and Flik are on the front, and they're going to eat that brunt of that Wrath of Terra. Good Lightning Storm coming out of Delta Marine as well. Solid damage onto the roster of Starboys, but Myflin is here around the back, finds one with that Lord of the Afterlife, but not enough damage quite yet. Dwurst up and down right on top of Flik, who's forced to jump away himself. Now DaleyDale's the one who's going to transform, and he's going to jump on top over everyone on Obey and find the kill onto the very low Delta Marine, and he's going to be able to escape. Cheeky little play there out of DaleyDale, but that's a big one, keeping Delta Marine down.
That was an excellent turnaround by DaleyDale. Just doesn't even look for the peel on his team. Probably surprises everybody on Obey. You don't expect the Fafnir to dive that deeply into an entire roster, but considering how low Delta Marine was, I think that was the smart play to make.
Either way, absolutely. I mean, Starboys need to keep putting pressure onto Delta Marine. I mean, that's been the one who's really caused the majority of their problems. So if you can keep him on the respawn timer, that's going to help out quite a bit. Love the shell pickup here from Myflin. And you were saying that he's willing to help his team, and this is definitely a different style from the jungler that we used to see. Season 3, he was the hard carry, ignore the rest of the team, I'm getting my speed buff, and then I'm getting in there and 1v5ing people, and doing so successfully for the most part. This time around, a little bit more team-oriented play out of the jungler, going for a heavy hammer here, giving him a little bit of extra HP, and just chase down slow potential, but that shell, recognizing that the Starboys have a lot of AoE damage that Obey need a shell, and giving it to the jungler to pick up.
I kind of want to see Jelly pick up a meditation once he hits level 12. He's probably still got a little ways to go before he's able to pick up that second active, but I feel like the meditation combined with the shell will be incredibly effective for Obey Alliance as far as continuing the engagements.
Jelly wins what every support wants to win, and that's the ward battle on those top or bottom left side of the mid Harpies. Pulls DaleyDale off of his own ward, and then finds the auto attacks That's the stuff that supports live for, Taco. And yes, that's how boring that role can be at times. That's what you live for.
Actually, that's pretty exciting and hilarious when you think about it. That's probably the most troll thing in the world, just taking it away from somebody with the pool. And I absolutely love doing it. For instance, standing on top of the ward so the enemy can't clear it, and then you're taking theirs.
Late Devourer's Gauntlets here for Mancer. He went for this last game as well. I believe it was 4th item, Devourer's Gauntlets. Do you like this pickup in this slot, or would you rather see him go for something else?
Not for Hu-Yi. I think that he was able to get away with it on the Kern last game because of how far ahead his team was. But hold that thought, Myflin could be in a lot of trouble here.
Joey Donuts has that ultimate, but decides not to use it. Instead, he's focusing down Delta Marine. Only the Purification Beads available for the mid laner. Mancer's here, and immediately the turnaround is coming from Obey. Crimson's ultimate not going to find anybody as Myflin turns into a little pig and runs away underneath that tier 2. Good route coming out of Joey Donuts is going to be able to secure that kill for Cameron. DaleyDale once more jumping forward. Myflin trying to turn it aggressive, but Joey Donuts going to be able to notch another kill. Starboys even up the kill total 6-6. Still behind pretty significantly in gold, so they're going to look for the objective.
Oh yeah, this is what it's going to come down to.
You have
a Zeus available, a flashback moments. Chain Lightning is good so far, and I'm not sure that Starboys can linger around here any longer.
Mancer taking quite a bit of damage, and Dwurst is teleporting in. Cameron's going to be able to stop that ward from happening, but it's enough to make sure that Starboys do not get the objective.
I respect that decision by Starboys 100%. Backing off then and there was definitely the right call because it's a 50-50 toss-up. Against a Zeus, you are risking way too much trying to secure that Gold Fury. And should it go the way of Obey Alliance again, that lead that you guys have been trying to minimize is just going to be completely snowballed out of control once more.
And now it's Obey's turn to start up this Gold Fury. Stand corrected, that was only the Oracles not feeling confident enough, with Delta Marine still being a little bit weak, as is Mancer, with only Jelly there to support. Good damage coming out of Cameron, who's sitting on top of the player damage charts right now, has been very effective on this Cernunnos, going for the early chin size right after the Ichabal there. Not a lot of penetration in that build, but enough to get through this double front line.
Like I was saying before Myflin got himself into a little bit of a danger zone, Mancer with the 3rd item Devos, I don't like this pickup for Hu-Yi. It's a little bit too late to opt for the sustain, especially since Devos takes long enough as is to stack up to get the power spike that you want from it. So he would have been better off opting for a 3rd item, Fatalis if he wanted that, or just an Executioner or Chins.
Dwurst teleports in and makes it difficult for Starboys to continue their aggression onto the Gold Fury. In fact, he's going to force Cameron to back. Now DaleyDale's going to have to jump away after good damage coming out of the rest of Obey. Pretty poked out here for Starboys, and they don't have the sustain that Obey have, courtesy of that Sylvanus, so Obey is going to be the one to start up this Gold Fury. Already below 25% HP. Here comes Vulcan's ultimate, but the Gold Fury is reset. Joey Donuts got baited in and erased. Delta Marine with number 4. Now Dwurst up on top of Crimson. Isolated and alone. This Vulcan likely to fall, but a good Aegis saves him for the moment until Dwurst transforms back into the Bellona and shield bashes him down. Now Dwurst gets some help from Myflin on this front side as he's going to escape through the enemy red buff. Myflin in the middle of 3, but that mass immune protection certainly helping him out in this scenario. Flik trying to handle the entirety of Obey, and he's going to pay for this one. Delta Marine pulls the trucker horn, and another kill goes the way of the mid laner. 5, 2, and 3. Top of the Obey player damage charts, and it's going to be another Gold Fury the way of Obey Alliance.
And that's exactly what Starboys didn't want to happen. Just too much commit too soon. Obey didn't have to stay on that Gold Fury. They needed the Vulcan ultimate. That's all they were waiting for. As soon as that Vulcan ultimate was popped, and they just immediately back off and then aggress.
That's the difference between these two teams for me, Taco, is that if we see Starboys with the gold lead and they've got Obey's draft and they're the ones who knock the Gold Fury down to 20% HP, they probably try and full commit. That's what we've seen from them pretty consistently throughout this set. Obey immediately bait Starboys into engaging and then pull off and take the fight, and take it they do. 3 kills and the objective. Starboys have started to climb back into it. Let's take a look at the graphs. It was Obey Alliance's lead throughout, but you can see it was starting to head up towards Starboys a little bit. And then that drop, courtesy of that last team fight, now up almost 7,000 gold and over 8,000 experience.
It just absolutely plummets for Starboys, and fighting into that roster of Obey, everybody is starting to come online. Even Mancer having the delayed power spike in his build, considering his itemization choice, it's still going to work out for him because his team is making the plays necessary so that he won't necessarily get punished for it. Despite Cameron's high aggro route, he can't choose to be aggressive against Mancer when Mancer has the rest of his team to back him up.
Look at these level leads for Obey. I mean, Delta Marine's up 4 levels again on Crimson, and Dr. Flik is down 3 now behind Dwurst. Last time it was Flik staying fairly even with Dwurst. This time can't say the same. Delta Marine continues to put some pressure into that mid lane. Mancer eats the Sunder from Joey Donuts, and now he's going to go aggressive. Wild Hunt comes out as well as Mancer is on the run. No relics available for the new Hunter for Obey. All it takes is Delta Marine showing up. You can't fight that anymore. Can't fight into that level 18 Zeus at 22 minutes.
But they used a Sunder and 2 ultimates anyway, and now all Obey Alliance have their eyes on the towers in mid lane.
And they're using that sustain coming out of Jelly that has really been pretty impactful so far this game. Obey Alliance get that tier 1 tower in mid, 500 gold, 100 per. And now they're going to look for the objective. The Portal Demon is the call on this right-hand side. Delta Marine seems to be the one who wants the zone, and really, I don't blame him. I'm level 18. I want to fight at this stage. Portal Demon getting pretty low as Joey Donuts comes around the backside. Doesn't have that ultimate as Jelly knocks up 3. That Lightning Storm comes through for Delta Marine. Good damage, and the detonate confirms it. Crimson gonna fall down once more. DaleyDale in some trouble, but not as much as Cameron, who's forced into the Aegis. He's gonna fall here. Mancer notches his first of the game. Myflin handling DaleyDale in that mid lane. No jump for the Dragon, just trying to get away. But this is exactly what Osiris does. Mancer steals away that kill from Myflin, a double for the Hunter, and Obey continue to just control Starboys.
There's no getting away from an Osiris with a Frostbound Hammer, and your jump's already on cooldown as Fafnir. DaleyDale just had nowhere to go, completely separated from his team, who was dying in the back line, by the way, so just nothing to do. And now Joey Donut, with nowhere to run, chooses to go into the tower, but it's not his. Fatalis
is keeping Mancer on point with Flik here despite that Sentinel of Zeus. Delta Marine says, I got this one, young one. Let me show you how it's done. 7 kills now for the 72. This Portal Demon's gonna fall to the other 3 members of Obey. Mancer's gonna handle that tier 1 on the right. In the meantime, the rest of Obey gonna back and buy. They've got plenty to spend after that last engagement.
This is a perfect scenario for Obey as well, because the 2 deaths on Starboys are 2 pretty big frontlining members, Dr. Flik and Joey Donut. That's an easy Fire Giant initiation, because either time those 2 gods spawn and start making their way towards this Fire Giant pit, I mean, we've seen the damage that Delta Marine is outputting already on Zeus. There's no way that Obey don't secure this. Starboys are more than aware of it. They can't contest.
Delta Marine already has the Rod of Tahuti. He's got an Obsidian Shard, got a ton of penetration, and now he's got a ton of damage on top of that. Oh yeah, and he's level 19. Good luck dealing with that one. 14-6, Obey Alliance in the lead. So now they're turning their attention to this tier 2 on the right-hand side. Lots of towers still up here for Starboys, so Obey does have some objectives to chunk through, but with this kind of lead, I doubt it'll take too much time for them to do so.
I don't think it'll take them much time, if any at all, and most likely what Obey will choose to do is secure all of these towers, wrapping around into the T1 of that dual lane, and then look for the Gold Fury, back by, and then look to siege again.
Already up about 13,000 gold. What went wrong for Starboys in this set, Taco? Was it as simple as objective control?
The objective control, that was really it. As soon as they lost the engagement on the Gold Fury and Obey were able to capitalize on their over-aggression, Starboys just had nowhere to go. I mean, the snowball potential that Obey were capable of, it just came through yet again, and they've completely dominated this game since that point.
And again, I want to emphasize that this is the idea behind this team composition, and this, you could say the same for Starboys, is that you have to get ahead early with a composition like this, and when you fall behind, very, very few comeback mechanics available to you with either one of these drafts. Crimson, as I mentioned earlier, really the one who has the potential to turn this around for Starboys, has gone for, let's look at his items here. He's got the Soul Stone, the starter item, and then he's got a little bit of a hybrid defense, but penetration boots, Divine Ruin, that's anti-heal and penetration, And now he's going for penetration with that Obsidian Shard, trying to cut through the amount of protections that Dwurst, Myflin, and Jelly have, but this might be a little bit of overkill, Taco. You need some damage in there as well.
You need a lot more damage as well. I mean, the abilities that he has landed have been tickling that of Myflin, Dwurst, and Jelly. So it's also just the Vulcan in general. This isn't a god that you'd like to fall behind on. And Dr. Flik is paying the price for trying to go against Marine.
This is a big win, though, for Starboys. Immediately knocks down 72. Now Mancer's in some trouble on this left-hand side, forced into the Aegis. He's going to be able to jump away for the time being. The pathing is good enough to get him out of that meatball, as Myflin is still trying to get into this fight after securing his own speed. Jelly knocks up multiple, and the sun's rained down from Mancer over the wall. Good AoE usage there. Myflin's shown up, and he's already trying to turn it on its head. Starboys, they're trying to save their mid laner. They won't be able to do so. Dwurst goes up and tries his own away. The rest, Frenzy's popped as Mancer cleans up Donut on the backside. What looks like a great fight for Starboys. That's as good as they could have possibly asked for. Are now losing heavily. Dwurst finds DaleyDale. Cameron's gonna fall here after being slowed and stunned by Myflin. Dwurst secures his 5th 5-0-3 for the solo laner. And Obey, they don't even need their mid lane carry. They've got everybody else. Deicide for Obey and a 2-0 to start the summer split.
That was rough. I mean, I have to respect the decision by Starboys to continue the engagement after securing the pick onto Delta Marine. Delta Marine's been such a massive factor for this team as far as the team fights are concerned. His damage has been insane the entire time, but it didn't make a difference. As soon as Myflin rotated in, that fight was just completely Obey's.
Yeah, I cannot believe that went. So, I mean, I can, because I mean, Obey is so far ahead at that stage, but that's the dream scenario. You're thinking, okay, how can we get back in this? We just have to kill Zeus before he gets anything off. Check. You force Mancer out of the fight before he can do anything. Check. Okay, we've done it, guys, and we just got decided and lost. I mean, it was that quickly. I mean, Delta Marine was all over the place. We were calling his name consistently in both games, but game 2 in particular, Taco, this Zeus was just phenomenal.
As soon as he got ahead from the start, this is where it all kicked off. The chain lightning and goodbye.
And the root as well from Jelly is what initially set that up. There's what we're talking about. You cannot throw down the turret in front of a Zeus. Crimson pays the price. Pull from Jelly was unnecessary, but style points, and that's also, I mean, that's a big part of it.
Might as well just take him out of the tower anyway, just in case. He'd never be too safe. Dr. Flik, I mean, he thought he had protections, not against Delta Marine on the Zeus, and this was the fight that really determined the outcome of the game. The initial turnaround by Obey Alliance, the immediate dropping of the Gold Fury, and then the damage. The counter engage was just too much for Starboys to handle after they burned so much trying to steal away that Gold Fury.
Obey's teamwork this game was significantly better than it was in game number 1. I think that's a big reason why we saw them have a much cleaner game than game number 1. Certainly doesn't hurt whenever you draft a team composition that's designed to get ahead, and then you get ahead, and then Delta Marine gets really fed, and then it can be pretty easy from there. But either way, I think we saw Obey start to work a little bit more as a unit than we did in game number 1.
I thought that Obey's teamwork overall, I wouldn't even say that they really missed Eric Cougar.
No.
It's crazy to say. I mean, Eric Cougar's been such a large factor for this team for so long, but I think Mancer certainly stepped it up, and he filled in the shoes that he needed to.
Absolutely. Mancer with a pretty solid debut there. Finds the 2-0 with the rest of his team. That's game number 1, or set number 1, I should say. Let's take a look at the schedule and see exactly what else we've got for you. We're going to throw to a quick break in a moment, but on the other side, it's going to be Soar versus Elevate. Taco, who do you like in that one?
I've been really digging Elevate lately. I mean, you've got to consider Cheka, and I think that's probably a huge crowd favorite as well. And so all around, I'm very excited to see how this matchup turns out.
Anytime you get to see Michael Cheko on the scoreboard, you know you're going to be excited. Getting ready to go. We're going to throw to a quick break. We'll be right back with Soar versus Elevate.
one desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. I got tons of soul, I'm a true collectible. Famous, also famous, number one desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. I got change to throw, I don't care about no gold. Better, so much better, flipping incredible. Always on the show so they know that I still got it. And I never feel sorry, yeah, top of the world.